Okay, next question is yours, Marie. What can I do to ensure I have the financial means to support myself and my children post-separation?
So this is often asked because pending any property settlement or division of assets, there's obviously questions around, well, how's income distributed and what access do I have to income, and looking after the children. So in terms of the children, there is this ability to get child support, which is governed by the Child Support Agency, and they undergo a calculation as to how much child support you're entitled to on the basis of all sorts of elements. It's quite complicated, but essentially what income you and your spouse are earning, how much time overnight each of you and your spouse are spending, and other factors as well. So ordinarily, in terms of the children's expenses, we would suggest going straight to the Child Support Agency, getting an assessment on the basis of those factors. There's the option to probe further if the assessment doesn't quite take into account the special needs of your family, or you're able to establish that your spouse got more income than necessary. In terms of supporting yourself, we do talk about spousal maintenance in a bit more detail later, but the method in which to obtain support is through a payment called spousal maintenance. Or it might be that you and your spouse have got access to bank accounts with money in it that you could use or get a consent to use as a method to support yourself. In terms of legal fees, there are options to be able to resort to sort of funding associations.
Like legal finance.
So
legal fees.
Correct, yeah. And we have a good relationship with a few of them who predominantly only work with family lawyers. So they will assess what your ultimate property settlement's likely to be. And usually the funds are predominantly for legal fees, but they can permit drawing on funds for living expenses as well.
Yeah, exactly. Or even buying a car.
Yes.
I had a client buy a car with their litigation funding because they just couldn't get a car otherwise.
Yes.
Just with those applications, so it's essentially a very simple application, because all you're doing is providing your name and significant details, and then it goes to the family lawyer to explain what your entitlement is to the property pool and to give the financier an overview of that property pool.
Yes.
So it can be a really simple application that ends up with a fairly low interest loan over a long period with no repayments till the matter resolves. Really, really helpful for a lot of people who don't have a high income or access to cash in those early days.
And look, there's always the option to try and negotiate with your spouse as well as to, or use a lawyer to assist you in negotiating about what would need to be available for you to support yourself and the children, and coming up with sort of a lump sum. And if you are able to do that, then that can be documented outside of the Child Support Agency as well. So if you work out that X amount's going to be appropriate for your family, and it might be more than what the Child Support Agency assessment is, that can still be documented and enforceable.